Dirk, how are you?
Morning, Edgar. Hey.
How is everyone?
Morning to everyone. Hey.
Yay, so...
It's a weekend again, hey?
It's a weekend again.
You're preaching this time?
Yeah, preaching this time. You paid me out last time you preached last Sunday.
Did I?
Yeah?
About the BMW?
No. Yes, I never thought of it, but it is a state of origin every day.
It is,
yeah. Like, yes. No, you made a reference about, I like stories.
You do, don't you?
I do like stories.
And the thing is that not only your sermons, but a lot of the material you produce is a lot of the stories you collect. Because I think you've made a point to me once, that's the way that Jesus taught. He told stories.
Yes. Yeah. Like, there's so many things I like about stories. First of all, this is how we function.
Yeah.
And this is how the Bible is actually a book of, and everyone knows, all the academics know, they call it salvation history, which is basically just saying it's the story of God with his people.
Yeah.
And like, even when it begins, like the first guys in the Bible, they encounter God, they know nothing about him, really. They have no extended teaching. So they didn't even know his name. So for centuries, he was just the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Mm-hmm. And basically, this is the God that our fathers encountered because he met them at some stage.
Yeah.
Like, and I think Christianity always goes wrong when we get away from story. Because when you get away from story, it becomes just an intellectual construct. You're actually no longer dealing with God, a person, or anything real in your life. You're just
a commodity almost.
A commodity, a science, a philosophy. Yeah. It's a worldview, but it's
and so
lifeless.
It shoves us into this idea of doctrines, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because very dry and clinical.
It's doctrines.
If you believe those teachings, you're in.
Yeah.
But the heart is still nowhere to be
seen.
seen.
And you don't know God. But as soon as you meet someone and says, when did you meet God? What's actually the high points in your life with God? When did you feel really close to him? Or what was the disappointment? Immediately you're telling a story.
Yep.
You cannot actually talk about God and your relationship with him without telling a story.
And who can say, well, you're wrong on that?
Yeah.
Because that's your story.
That is another huge one. As soon as you make it an intellectual construct, it becomes all neat and tidy, and this is just how it is. But when you tell a story, and the way God tells a story in the Bible, God is not always having the same story with everyone.
Yeah.
And, God can do whatever he likes. Yes, there's some basic truth about, the wages of sin is death and the free gift of God is eternal life. That's true. But like you take even John and Jesus. So they're cousins. They both have national ministries, whatever. John is forbidden to have alcohol from birth. Yeah. No alcohol. Yeah. Jesus comes on the scene. He drinks. He has a lot of parties where, he just joins in.
He gets a bad reputation.
He gets a bad reputation. He turns water into wine as his first miracle. So, both stories are in the Bible. They're correct. They're from God, but they're not the same.
Yeah.
And God is refusing just to put into one little thing.
Yeah.
And, John never performed a miracle. And yet he reached the nation. Jesus relied on the miracles to actually confirm his identity.
And yet they're both rejected.
They're both rejected. But can you see it in modern history? Yeah. We have Billy Graham. Yeah. He probably wasn't really known for a lot of miracles. But then you have other, Reinhard Bonnke.
Oh man!
I mean, all the Muslims come because the blind see, and miracles happen. Everyone knows miracles happen. Should they fight with one another? No, they all have a genuine story with God, and when you keep it in story form, it doesn't become as dogmatic.
Well, Edgar, one of the things that I know about my faith development, the formation when I was young, it wasn't actually confirmation or Bible studies or any of those kind of things. It was the story of my grandpa when he heard God or had this prayer as a soldier, and then later on heard God calling him back in, and it changed his life around. That was the moment where I thought, God is real.
Yes, that's precisely then he's real. If you have a Christian faith without story, you have a Christian faith without experience.
Yeah.
If there's no story, there's no experience.
Yeah.
And that is so not the Bible. Everyone in the Bible, they all experience God. Hey, but this is a bit of an introduction. I'm actually, this Sunday in the preaching, I'm engaging a book, an interesting book by Will Storr, The Science of Storytelling.
Right.
And so he wrote the book to tell other people how, to write good stories and stuff. It's not a Christian book, but he makes the observation, like, if you want to tell a good story, you've got to understand how we humans operate and function. And we are storytelling entities. Actually, that's what humans are. Even all the non-Christians know that. There is no human existence without story. And he says, interestingly, that everyone puts himself in the center as the moral hero of their own narrative, of their own story. Mm-hmm. So, everyone is a character, but you're the hero, you've got a cause and effect and a goal, and this is... Mm-hmm. You experience your life as story, and you're in the middle of it. And, that's an interesting take, and, going to expand on that. But what I found absolutely fascinating is he said, moral hero.
Do you know, when I hear that, one of the things that I observe, for myself, but also for everybody, we are actually in a culture now through TV, and our entertainment is actually seeing and hearing and participating in stories. Yes. Constantly, everything is about another story, right? But it actually also influences our moral identity. These stories have actually shaped a whole generation, haven't they? So is that the sort of stuff he's talking about?
Yes. I find it very interesting. So basically, everyone, all humans do it. All the research shows that you experience your life as a story with yourself as the hero, which, like from the Bible per se, you should be a humble hero. It's actually not all about you, so it's something to deal with. But as the moral hero, everyone justifies what they're doing, and they think what they're doing is morally superior than what someone else is doing. Yeah. So, which I find fascinating, because in a culture where you believe in evolution and there being no God, and we say, your truth is as good as mine, it's anti-discrimination, all religions are the same, blah, 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 there's no right or wrong. If there's no God, there's really no right and wrong. The philosophers are saying that. We humans don't function that way.
No, in actual fact, we don't even believe it that way, because the thing is that the truth of our behaviour then comes out, where usually what happens is that I'm right and you're wrong, because as you said, my narrative is that I'm in the centre of it, and so you're not in the centre, so hold on, and it takes humility to say, well, maybe you are right, maybe I'm the one who's wrong.
And the way we argue is, I'm morally superior, and that's visible to everyone. Yeah. And even, they found it, even prisoners in prison think of themselves as morally superior. I only stole the money because he was ripping off the public anyway.
You justify it.
Yeah, you justify it. And we always have this need to justify, and the narrative.
The modern way of now, really just of late, it's like I've only seen it kind of really come into vogue the last 5 years or so, where they talk about the narrative. Yes. It's not any longer about facts and truth and whatever it is. It's like, it's my story.
Yes.
Forget about the facts. Yes. If you don't like the narrative, then there's something wrong with you.
Yes.
But if you come and say, hold on, let's talk about this, let's debate it, and bring my facts and figures to this, and say, well, I don't care about that, because the narrative is all that matters.
And then of course you got political correctness, which is all about moral superiority. Yeah. And then, even this modern word is virtue signaling.
Wow.
Virtue signal.
I haven't heard that one.
Oh, haven't you? No. It's basically, you promote yourself as a virtuous person. You're against global warming and for the environment and against racism. But virtue signaling is, you just like a post on Facebook, or it doesn't cost you anything. So you can be very virtuous without it doesn't cost you anything. Yeah. But everyone wants to be virtuous. Yeah. So anyway, I found that, how amazing is that God made us moral beings, and we may fight it kicking and screaming, but the Bible is right. We do have a God that made us and designed us in his own image, and there is right and wrong. And so, we do the judging all of the time. We shouldn't be surprised that God also is moral. and he has a view on right and wrong, and we better align with him.
And the story unfolds what that's like.
Yes.
Cause and effect
Yes.
and all sorts of things becomes the storyline then, doesn't it?
Yes.
It rolls it
Yes,
out.
yes. And then maybe just one and just finish. In the book, one of the key functions of story, even from a non-religious point of view, is that it brings order into chaos.
Right.
If you didn't have story, cause and effect, and somehow try
So it
to
makes
understand,
sense. The story
to
makes
make
sense. Yeah.
Otherwise, you got just the random universe,
Yep.
bleakness. Like you don't know why things happen and when, and you can't tolerate that. So you need story to bring order into it. And like, yes, that is the Bible as well. It's totally religious because the Bible teaches us that God spoke things into existence and brought order out of chaos. It says that the world was chaos, the Spirit was hovering over it, and then God spoke, and He separated day from night, and light from darkness.
The story unfolds, isn't it?
And the story, and then He made people, and yes. So, like the book is not religious or Christian, but you can see it talks about Bible truth.
Yeah.
It actually talks about the way we are made, and the way we are made is for stories.
Yeah.
This is how we operate, this is how we see ourselves, this is how we learn.
I love the last thought here. I love the fact that I think it was Apostle Paul who talks about us then as being living letters.
Yeah.
It's almost like the story now is being written and it continues.
Yes.
Living letters.
And even like, another closing thought is just even John 3:16. It's a story. Yeah. For God so loved the world that He sent His only begotten Son into the world that whoever believes in Him shall not perish but have eternal life. That is a story, isn't it? If you want to explain that verse, you've got to tell a story. And that's our faith. And I find it exciting. I love it. And we embrace it.
Come with your story on Sunday.
Yeah. Okay. We have a few testimonies on Sunday.
Fantastic. All right.
Have a wonderful day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye for now.